Hey everybody, happy Sunday, September 13th. Welcome to the studentloanjustice.org live stream. My name is Alan Collins. We're glad that you found us. What took you so long? I am going to keep this very short and very brief tonight. If you can't see my whole head, I apologize in advance. But here's what's going on right now, guys. The petition has about 1,056,000 signatures. That's great. Student loan cancellation by executive order is now at the top of the news. We are waiting with bated breath for the Biden administration to come back. Oh, look at that. Kitty. We are waiting with bated breath for the Biden administration to come back and issue that memo determining whether indeed the president has the executive authority to cancel federally owned student loans or not. We know that they do. When we started our petition, in fact, well before we started our petition back in August of 2019, after doing an interview with Vice News about this, we looked very carefully at the law, and the president does have the power. So we're cool no matter what this memo comes back saying. I hope it comes back saying what is obvious, but we'll see. We'll just have to see. But regardless, so there's two things that are important, guys. And two things that first of all, for the first 16 years of our existence, we were fighting very moderately for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. It's a terrible thing to have to do. But the Founding Fathers felt that bankruptcy was so important, they called for it in the Constitution, not the Bill of Rights, the Constitution itself. And they called for it ahead of the bill, ahead of all the stuff in the Bill of Rights, number one. But even in the Constitution, they called for it ahead of the power to declare war, ahead of the power to raise an army and print money and create a judiciary and all kinds of other very important things. Build a navy. So bankruptcy is important, and it remains important, guys. Student loan cancellation it's got to happen. But here's the cruel, or maybe not cruel, here's the reality. This up to $50,000 stuff that we're seeing from Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer, we're thrilled that they embraced the concept, but all the weasel words that they are likely to put in, they and Biden, if he does it, all the weasel words they are likely to put into that whole thing is going to be sufficient for the Department of Education to bureaucratize it to death. Because the one thing we know about the Department of Education is if they have no desire or intentions of canceling any student loans. If you tried for PSLF, you already know that. Whatever. Cat. No desire, no intentions of canceling any student loans. And if there's any way that they can get out of it, that's what they will do. In fact, going back to 1993, 99.99% of everyone who tried for one cancellation program or another has been disqualified and has never gotten the loan cancellation that they had hoped for. 99.99%. So too will it be with this up to $50,000 loan cancellation. Up to $50,000. If the Department of Education has its way to do it, has its way with the details, they will bureaucratize it to death. Now, the thing that will make that not true, the thing that will make a loan cancellation actually happen, is having the threat of bankruptcy back on our side. That's just the truth, guys. That's just a fact. I don't see any meaningful loan cancellation happening without the threat of bankruptcy back on our side. So I'm thrilled to tell you that we now have a great bill in the Senate, S-2598. Senator Dick Durbin and Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn co-sponsoring this bill. They call it the Fresh Start in Bankruptcy Act, S-2598. So that's really good. Bankruptcy's got to happen. It's got to happen. It's still even more important than loan cancellation in that. And I hate to even talk about the two as competing terms, because they're not. Loan cancellation and bankruptcy are extremely compatible things. We're fighting for both, and everybody out there who wants student loan cancellation should also be fighting for both. Even more than that, I mean, it's really kind of a timing thing as well, because unless bankruptcy is there, we're not going to see loan cancellation. So bankruptcy really kind of takes a priority. But remember, guys, these things are not competing against each other. It's not either or. We've got to have both. Got to have both. So S2598 becomes even more important, guys, and we've got to fight for it. Now, I'm thrilled to tell you that we are in close consultation with some very important lawmakers in Washington, D.C., elsewhere, on the bankruptcy bit, also on the cancellation bit. But some very important things are happening right now in Washington, D.C. And I'm not even going to be any more specific than that. I'm only to say that right now the sausage is being made. So right now, the most important thing that any of us can be doing is pushing the crap out of senators, out of congressional representatives, congressmen, congresswomen, but even more than that, perhaps, Republican governors and state legislators. I truly think that is the great untapped thing that we need to tap. You know, when even a couple Republican governors, particularly of the states where they are underwater on student loans vis-a-vis their state budget. So, for example, state of Georgia, for example. State of Georgia, the entire state budget is $48 billion. The people of Georgia owe $82 billion in student loan debt. Now, if you're Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, you don't know much about student loans. In fact, you probably don't almost know anything about federal student loans. So that $82 billion, you probably don't even know that your state owes that much. But you know a lot about the state budget. That's a huge number to you. This goes for the governors, all the legislators, and to a lesser extent, all the local media as well. They don't really understand federal student loans, but they understand the state budget. They live and breathe the state budget. So to tell them that your state, the student loan debt in your state is 169% of your state budget, in other words, 69% larger than your state budget, that is like a spit coffee out of your cup moment for a lot of people in these states where student loan debt exceeds their state budget. So we're talking Georgia, Florida, Texas, Missouri, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Indiana, Tennessee, New Hampshire, Ohio, Virginia, Maryland, Colorado, a couple of other states, Michigan. But most of those states, if you'll notice, are like red states. And so it really is incumbent on us to push the governors of those states so hard. If you live in any of those states, you should really make it like maybe not a half-time job, but maybe like a mini job for you to make sure that everybody in the state realizes, including and especially the governor and the state legislature, that they know, that they learn, that you tell them if you have to, you be the ambassador. Make it your mission to make sure that everybody in the state knows that student loan debt exceeds the entire state budget. Tell all the reporters you can think of, and we can help you with that. Call a reporter in your state and say, did you know that student loan debt exceeds our state budget? Did you know that even federal student loan debt alone exceeds our state budget? And that is true for 7 states, including North, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Ohio, and I think New Hampshire. That's big news. We have to spread the word. This is where our value as a group really comes through and where the whole entire game can really be changed, folks. So important. I had a couple announcements that I said my last little go around. This is a redo, by the way. I screwed up the live stream last time. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m., we're doing a special screening of the film. Go to scared2debtmovie.com if you can and donate a couple bucks. They are trying to get money together to finish the film. And if you go to scared2debtmovie.com, I think you can see a place where you can pay $5 and watch the first episode. I could be wrong on that, but I will. In any event, I will post a link below this live stream so you can go there and do that. It'll help a lot. This is the strongest film series, or whatever you want to call it, the strongest documentary ever to be made on the student loan topic. So the quicker we can get this widely out there to the public, the better. and that starts with you. So please do that. Pennsylvania is close, Michael. Hey, by the way, if you have any questions or comments, throw them out. I'm happy to respond. Pennsylvania nearly owes more than their entire state budget in student loans. Pennsylvania, as I recall, owes like 97%, I think, of their entire state budget in student loan debt. So that's close enough. That's close enough to come after people in Pennsylvania. And by the way, Republican congressmen in the states of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Georgia, and North Carolina are now opposing student loan cancellation. They wrote a letter to the president saying, President Biden, do not cancel these loans. We need to take these son of a guns to task, to very strong task. We need to shove what I just said about student loan debt exceeding the state budget. We need to shove that in their faces. That's not MAGA. That's not conservative. Allowing your state to be conquered and enslaved by federal government debt, there is nothing conservative about that. You know, these conservatives also claim that they hate the colleges, right? Because they're indoctrinating whatever they're doing, socialists. Well, this lending system benefits the colleges. It feeds them. So there's nothing conservative about fighting for and defending this big government lending monstrosity that by all rights should have been taken to the bath and drowned in the tub many years ago. It doesn't help their states. It hurts their states. It doesn't help whatever libertarian cause they may claim to embrace. It doesn't do any of that stuff. So we've got a very strong argument to make here, guys. A couple other comments here. From Heather Guthrie, nothing new, the disabled particularly. I don't even know what that means, Heather. I'm sorry. But yeah, all the stuff that Biden has done so far is nonsense, guys. He's canceled 10.5 or maybe $10 billion in the first 7 or 8 months of his presidency. You know, in a typical 7 or 8 months, the federal loan portfolio grows by about $80 billion in interest alone. Even more than that, actually. So $10 billion in loan cancellation is nothing. He could do that forever, and we'd still be growing the student loan debt portfolio in interest alone by $70 billion a year. Ishmael says, we want student loans canceled. Well, that's exactly right, Ishmael. And here's the thing. There's bankruptcy. There's student loans cancellation. And, you know, I can't remember what I said last live stream versus what I said this live stream. But guys, those two concepts are compatible. They're not fighting against each other. And in fact, I don't see any meaningful student loan cancellation actually happening unless the threat of bankruptcy is back on our side. So that's just a fact. The Department of Education, they love not canceling student loans. Look at public service loan forgiveness. It's a travesty, and nobody's getting their loans canceled. So too for all the other loan cancellation programs. With the threat of bankruptcy back on our side, finally, we will see meaningful loan cancellation. Quite frankly, the entire lending system is failed. The whole thing's got to be thrown out, erased. The whole lending system is done. It's toast. It's finished. There is no saving it. There should be no saving it. Very few people, only about half, were paying before the pandemic. Almost nobody is paying right now. And when and if they lift the repayment suspension, very few people will resume paying. This is a failed lending system, guys. It's time to take it to the bath, drown it in the tub, throw it on the scrap heap of failed policy in U.S. history. 100% of all federally owned loans have got to be canceled, and bankruptcy protections have got to be returned to the loans that cannot be canceled. But if we want to see anything meaningful, the bankruptcy bit really comes first, guys. It just does. We have seen over many years any number of loan cancellation proposals be thrust upon the Department of Education. And in the absence of bankruptcy protections, none of that worked. None of them. Not one thing. Nothing. It was a joke. It was a cruel joke. And we were the punchlines. We've got to have bankruptcy back, guys. That's the most important thing. In fact, bankruptcy is a necessary precondition for student loan cancellation. If bankruptcy remains gone, and we get some kind of a up to $50,000 loan cancellation, it's going to be nonsense. It's going to get bureaucratized to death. We've got to have the threat of bankruptcy back on our side. That is as true today as it was 16 years ago when we first started student loan justice. We've learned a lot of hard lessons, guys, and that is one lesson that we learned. Without bankruptcy, we're not going to get any meaningful loan cancellation. So I can't say that strongly enough. So with that, guys, I think I've gone a little bit longer than I was thinking. I wanted to keep it really short tonight. The number one thing that anybody can be doing, well, first of all, look up and down on this group. You will see a whole bunch of posts that say daily action or Monday action or Tuesday action. Do all of those actions. They're very quick, usually nothing more than Twitter, maybe an email. Very quick stuff. We have a great muscle to strength, guys. We have a great muscle to flex, guys. We have potentially great strength. I believe we're like the largest collection of student loan borrowers in the country, I believe, with our petition at over 1 million people. If all of those 1 million people actually did these daily actions, we would have this lending system done. It would be gone. We'd be done. We'd be finished. That would be game over. We win. So remember that and do your part, because this is your problem. These are your loans. And one guy doing everything is nothing's going to happen with that. So, okay. So yeah, guys, this is not a watch it happen movement. This is a make it happen proposition. So I will just leave it at that with you. I'm trying to figure out this whole video thing in the first place anyways. So I will leave that, leave it there at that. Watch the film. Check out our thing tomorrow. I'm going to have some other really big news about the movie here, about the film very soon. Grow the petition. Republicans, Republican governors, Republican state legislators. Don't forget. Up and down on this group. Do all those actions. Last thing I will say is please donate if you can. We need to raise like $200 this week for expenses. So go to studentloanjustice.org and donate. We can't do this for nothing. We can do it on very little. We can't do it for free. So with that, I will wish everybody a great Monday. Let's make this the strongest week ever for student loan justice. Spread the word about this group. Spread the word about our petition. Spread the word about our film. And let's get this done, because I'm tired of these loans. I want these loans gone. Gone. And I hope you agree. So good luck. I'll be back on Wednesday. Ed'll be back tomorrow. Godspeed. And God bless everybody. Ah.